Hi folks, just a follow up from the video I did last week in relation to the most important video you should watch. Got some great feedback, lots of views, and since that video we've seen the exposure of Glenn Jury's system in the upper house in all the mainstream media, up to a point where literally Dan Andrews' approval rating dropped by 8 points in the last 4 days. And when people are exposed to the truth, they can quite easily make up their mind, and that's what we're seeing. So why is this stuff been held from people for so many years? It's been in operation for 50 years. So why are we now being exposed to it? The reason why is because we've got a tyrant in charge and people want the tyrant out. So now this stuff's being exposed. So well done to all the mainstream media who actually ran it. I didn't believe they would, but they did. So well done. Now, we're going to make this video really, really short. So I want you to share it to as many CFMEU, ETU, ASU members, any union members, because this is going to be circular. This is going to be centered towards them. Now, if you're a mum or dad and you've got a son or daughter that's involved in the building industry or in the trades, and over the last week or two, they've come home and they looked a bit disenfranchised and a little bit confused. This is the reason why. Over the last 2 weeks, the CFMEU in every building site in Victoria have been gathering everyone in a lunchroom during their lunch break, and they've been dictating to the members on how they should vote. And they're saying that you should vote for Labor, even though we hate Dan, he's a dickhead, but we should vote for Labor because without Labor, we're going to lose all this infrastructure works and we're going to lose our jobs, and your kids and your grandkids aren't going to get apprenticeships. What a load of crap. A load of crap. Let me just tell you this. We are a state of 6.7 million people at the moment. Our infrastructure can support 3.5 million people at max. The work needs to be done. It doesn't matter who's in power. That work needs to be done. So the only difference is you have Labor or someone else in power. So with Labor in power, you get people like John Setka, and they get a bag of coke delivered every week, and they do lines in their office, and they have homo orgies with his bikie mates while Labor's in power. When someone else is in power, you know what he has to do? He actually has to work for the money that his members pay him. So he has to work out what the login is to his laptop. He has to get his phone going and start making some phone calls and actually typing emails and doing some fucking work, right? To get some EBAs done, right? Get some negotiation done. That's what he has to do, right? And the reason why they're trying to brainwash people is because it's quite easy for him to sit back now, right, and just get banged up the ass by Dan, right? Loves it all. But anything changes, he actually has to work with the companies, right? And instead of, all this bullshit safety that they have, instead of having a tick sheet where they just get, the shop steward to tick everything off and everything's been done, it's nice and safe, they actually have to go out and prove that it's safe. That's the difference. They actually have worked for their money that their members pay them. That's the only difference. The work is always going to be there, folks. Members of unions. The work is going to be there. There's no problems. The thing that you have to start to think about is whether you want the CFMEU around anymore, whether you want the ETU around anymore, whether you want to start your own union movement, right? So, for example, the last 12 months, Red Energy have been working behind the scenes for associations and unions, and they've been actually fighting for their members and selling them out like John Setka did. So that's all I wanted to say in this video. The other thing is, just remember when you're voting for the upper house, for the council, vote below the line and use your discretion to fill out every single number. Don't just do 1 to 5 like the VEC have done on their television commercial. Don't just vote 1 above the line. Use your discretion, right? It's up to you to choose where your vote goes. So If your first preference doesn't make it through, your second preference will get the vote, and so on and so on. You get to choose who your preference goes to, and that's the most important thing. In a lower house, same thing. You fill out your 1 for the most preferred person, and then 2 and so on. You don't have to follow the voter preference cards that your party give you, or the party that you choose to vote for, or the independent that you choose to vote for. You use your own intuition. And if you've listened to my last video, you should have already rung all the members in your local area and interviewed them. Same with the upper house people. I spent the whole week doing this, and there's one independent in my electorate that hadn't got back to me. So I'd seen that she'd done some good things, but if she's not willing to get back to me, I can't. I've got to put her last. Well, not last, before Labor, but last. So if you are an independent member and you're getting phone calls, please respond. If people are asking you what you're about, you've got to respond. Now, 2 more sleeps. It's looking very likely that Daniel Andrews might even lose his electorate. So it's great to see that people are actually voting to do the right thing and not voting because they barrack for a certain party. There's loads of independents. There's loads of smaller parties that you can vote for that have great policy. And it's not the end of the world if we don't have a structured parliament such as one party in power. It's actually more beneficial if you have voices representing every community inside parliament and things get debated on properly rather than rushed through. That's what you want. That's what we call a democracy. So, anyway, thanks very much, and we'll see what the election holds out to do, which is looking very interesting. Goodbye.